Hello my friends, welcome to Lean and Clean with Fitness Chef Christine. I'm Christine, your host, and today it is about 100 degrees here in Charlotte, and so I don't want to turn on my stove. I don't want to do anything on the stove top. We are going to use our Instant Pot. We're going to make a lovely braised roast. This is a chuck roast from our local meat market. So it'll actually be shredded beef. I may use it for tacos or burritos or whatever. I use it all through the week. It is delicious. So here's what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna turn this on right now to heat it up so that we can sear it on both sides. Very important. As we've done before, it seals in that flavor. It makes it great. Now, don't mind the fact that I have a spot on my shirt because just before I started filming, I dropped some olive oil on it. And I decided that I'm just not gonna change because that's how I roll. Okay, so first things first, we've got to season. And if you've been with me before, you know I'm a seasoning queen. So you can use some kosher salt or Celtic sea salt. We're just gonna put a nice coating of that on. And then we're going to take some pepper. This time we'll do some white pepper, simply because that's what I have in front of me. And we'll flip it over. Now this is a big chunk of meat here, so we're good to go. We're just gonna flip that over. And more salt. And then we're gonna sear it on both sides. So just gotta lay that down in there. We'll get that sizzling. Wash my hands real quick. And then we're gonna take a bowl and we're gonna add some of this better than bouillon in our beef. Here we go, put that in there. And as I've told you before, I always keep a bottle of cooking water around so that it's nice and handy. We don't have to go back and forth. We're just gonna rehydrate that. And with that, I'm gonna add a whole jar of salsa. That's what's gonna give that great flavor because it's got that complexity already. You've got tomatoes, you've got peppers, you've got onions in there. That's gonna save us from having to do a lot to it because when it's hot out, you don't wanna be slaving away in the kitchen. We want it to be really quick. So we're just gonna mix those two up. And then we're gonna give it a little taste. Do we need more salt? Do we need anything? I think it's pretty good because that salsa is made locally and it's great. So it's good to go. And we're gonna get ourselves a big fork. So we can, I don't know if you can hear it sizzling. That's what we're looking for, a good sizzle and a brown on both sides. Then we're gonna go ahead and add this cooking liquid into our pot. And we're gonna add one onion. Yes, I said there's onions in there, but you can never go wrong with more onions. And one jar of sun-dried tomatoes. That's gonna add more complexity because the fresh tomato salsa adds one layer of complexity, but the sun-dried tomatoes is obviously more concentrated and it's gonna give it a little bit more fat because we're gonna add that in as well. And we're just gonna chunk these onions up because you don't really need them to too small. And that's all we're gonna do. Then we're gonna let it cook. We're just gonna put it on the stew setting, and we're gonna let it cook until it's nice and soft and shreddable. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Now, most probably I will use this for, like I said, for tacos or burritos, because that's one of my favorite ways to do it. But you could also turn it into a sauce, a tomato sauce, by adding, obviously, chopped tomatoes and all the things that go in tomato sauce. So it's very versatile. You can use it all through the week. All right, we're gonna go ahead and flip this over once you've got a nice sear on the other side. And we're gonna flip it over. And I'm gonna top it with these onions. It makes my onions are making my eyes water, but that's okay. And we're gonna hit it with some of these tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes. That whole jar. I know that seems like a lot, but remember this is gonna cook for a long time. So that's just gonna soften it down. Plus it gives it a great flavor. So when you do shred it, you've got all that extra layer of flavor. And then I'm gonna add some Italian seasoning. This is a spicy Italian seasoning. And we're just gonna coat the top just like that. And we're going to add our salsa mix. Like that goes in. And we gotta get that little bit of bouillon mix there in there, and I'm just gonna spread that across the top. So as that cooks down, that will do its thing. And then we're gonna get our lid. So if you know anything about pressure cookers, you're gonna go ahead and seal this on. So it's not like my grandma's old pressure cooker where I used to worry it was gonna pop off and hit the ceiling and burn my face off. This one is much more controlled. So if you don't have an Instant Pot, it's a great thing to purchase. But a slow cooker would do the same thing. You would just have to go ahead and sear your meat off first, and then put it in your slow cooker and go from there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and select here and select our meat, and then you will see, I'm gonna turn it that way, you'll see you get your number here. So it's gonna cook for 35 minutes. Now you have to give it time to come to a full heat. And that takes about 30, 40 minutes sometimes, or sometimes it goes much faster. It just depends on the cut of meat and how much you've got in there. Now there's a good amount of fat in there that will melt out, so it will cook at a nice rate. Beyond that, once it's done doing that, it will keep it on low for the whole time. So you can actually set it and forget it and walk away from it, not worry that it's gonna overcook or that it will undercook. It'll keep on cooking even after the time is up. So this is the perfect way in a summer weekend or summer day to get your cooking done without all the fuss, without heating up your whole kitchen. And I absolutely love these. Now I could load it up with vegetables and everything else, but because I'm turning it into tacos, I really want the vegetables to be fresh or pickled. So I'm keeping it just as is. But you do what you like to do, and I will show you what it all looks like once it's done cooking, because you have to see what the end result is. All right, my loves, I'll come back. All right, time is up. Let's take a look. So that you can see that the onions are nice and soft now, and our meat is nice and tender. I might just put it on slow cook for a little longer, even though it pulls nicely off the bone. I want it to be a little bit softer, so we'll just go ahead and turn it over. So you can see it's starting to separate, which is good. But I want it to be a little more tender. So I'm gonna put this back on for a little bit and I'll show you what it looks like. It's been cooking. I put it back on pressure for 5 minutes so that we could get it a little more tender. So you can see that this bone is just pulling off so nice. That's what you're looking for. You want it to be nice and tender. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put a plate up here, and we'll just take the whole thing out. And then after it cools just a little bit, we'll go ahead and shred it up. And then we can strain out all these vegetables and they will go in with the tacos or whatever. It also makes great beef sandwiches. But most importantly, let's just take a little piece off here. You'll see it comes off real easy. It is super hot, so we're just gonna grab a little piece. Whew, there we go. It's got great flavor. Even that little spoonful of It's Better Than Bouillon helps really give it more of a meaty flavor. So I highly recommend you put that in there. And then you have so many choices of what you could do. So we talked about tacos, we talked about beef sandwiches, we talked about making it into sauces. We can use it for, even for breakfast, you could do a steak and eggs. So there's so many ways you can use it. And it's a great way not to steam up and heat up your kitchen in the summertime. So tell me what you're gonna do with yours. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you thought. And I'd love to just, make sure that you subscribe because it's free. And then make sure that you leave a comment and let me know how everything's going. And if you have any questions, whatever I can do, I'm here for it. Notice that I changed my clothes because now I'm off to Pilates. So my friends, make sure you keep moving, make sure you hydrate, make sure you fuel up, and make it as easy as you can. Sending you lots of love. Be blessed. Bye.